So welcome to the Center for eLearning's professional development session today. It's great to have you with us, and we're going to take some time for reflection on the semester. The first thing we want to do is just set the tone and realize that you know, as the saying goes, there's no kind of tired like end of the semester teacher tired. Even those who are mindful and who take time to give themselves enough sleep and everything, you know, we're probably all just, any instructor worth their salt puts as their heart and soul into their course and into their teaching, and there are so many demands and we're just tired. And it's a good time today to just take some, we also know that the value of taking time to pause and reflect and evaluate the work we've done in order to encourage future efforts, improvement in our future efforts. And so that's why today we're going to actually take the time to do that. I found an interesting article in the Chronicle of Higher Education that says, of course, instructors need quiet time in order to do their best thinking and to collaborate with each other. And this article was talking about how important it is, but also how difficult it is to find the time to do that. So today, going according to the recommendations by this article, they said that we need a discrete, accessible opportunity for quiet reflection and stillness of mind. And so that's what we're going to take today, however brief it will be. And although we know a full analysis and evaluation takes time, today we're hopefully going to purposefully begin that process. As we recall strategies that we used this semester, experiences that we had, we can start thinking about them. And then as the process begins, we can make decisions about whether we want to use those strategies again, maybe modify them, or discard them altogether. It's kind of like cleaning out your garage or that closet space. You take it out, look at it, and decide if it's worth keeping, and then if it's not, that opens up space for new things. So hopefully opening up space in our minds for new strategies to use. The tools that we need to get started, making sure you're in an environment that's a quiet place. Maybe you need to close the door, put your headphones on, or if you're thirsty or hungry. Our brain really can't function too well without the nourishment and hydration that it needs. So feel free to eat or drink during the session if you need to do that. Certainly excusing yourself for the lavatory is perfectly all right. Anything that you need, you know. As you're thinking, ideas are going to come into your head. One way to improve your memory of that idea is to write it down. Not just because you'll have that note later, but also because when you do the process of writing, it activates a different part of your brain to connect that thought to, as you're writing it down, you're activating an additional part of your brain in connection to that thought. So if you don't have a writing tool, you can go ahead and go and get one. Okay, so is everybody ready? Okay, we've been looking forward to this. The first 5 minutes we're going to take will be just for orienting our brains and bodies for quiet thinking, just making that transition. I'm going to set a timer. Don't be afraid, there won't be any buzzer going off to frighten you when it's finished. And we're just going to go ahead and be quiet and still just for that time. If you need to walk around and do that, that's fine too. But we're really trying not to just think about anything just yet. We're just kind of getting our brains ready for it. So we're going to start our 5 minutes orienting ourselves to quiet. Okay, thank you. For the next 6 minutes, we'll focus on simple recall. It's not a time of analysis. We're just taking things out of boxes and looking at them. Think about what happened during your semester. What did you and your students do? It's just remembering. We will take a quick time for note-taking when we're done. But for now, we'll just see if we can remember the events of the semester. Okay? Okay, we'll start. Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll just take a couple of minutes to write down thoughts, feelings. This part of the process, it really is just for you, but if you want to share on the Padlet, you can. It goes against my nature, but I'm trying not to talk very much, just to allow everyone to have their own thought time. Okay. Thanks. Now for 7 minutes. If you notice, our time gets a little bit longer each time. We're going to focus on semester successes. Try to remember the wonderful things, the goals that you accomplished, things that your students learned, and take time to focus on and enjoy those memories. That can be a real source of pleasure and enjoyment, it should be. So let's take some time to think about that. And again, we'll have time for note-taking when we're finished. So now we'll take another 2 minutes. I see that Rachel is with us as well. Welcome, Rachel. It's great to see you. Does anybody want to share verbally at this point, or you're happy with where we are? Good.
I will.
Okay.
And it pleases me that Rachel is here because I partially have her to thank for one of the accomplishments of this semester. The group of people that I work with, the colleagues who also teach the undergrad course that I teach, are working on some of the undergrad research stuff. So I met with Rachel and we worked on developing some research skills in the students. Not that I asked them to write a research paper, because I didn't. I wanted them to do the whole, to go through the whole research process. The original looking, being able to do the search and figuring out how to narrow it down so that you have something that you can work with. And then their final presentations, I had them in groups of 7 based on a really broad overview topic. And in class, I had them look up the overview topic, and each one of them had, 5, 6, 7 million possible strikes on it. And so once they narrowed it down to a smaller portion of that overview, and then they worked on it. They did their own, they had to do a annotated bib on 5 of the articles. I think it was 5, Rachel, might have been 3, right? And within that annotated bib, because we can all do a quote, I asked them to do a paraphrase from the articles that they read. And so that turned out pretty good, because that's a skill they definitely don't have. And then after that, their presentation, I did it more of a oh, what's the word for at conferences, like a poster session type of thing, so that they each had their, as a group, they had some component of what each one of them had done on, not literally a poster because they don't do them so much on posters anymore, but on the computer screen. And I had the students walk around, and then each group had a few minutes to share with the rest of the group. So it turned out interesting. It was a little bit different, but I have Rachel to thank for helping guide me in that direction.
Awesome. Anybody else? No? I'm just really amazed at how the ideas start really flowing, how the thoughts just start really coming when I give them. I don't do this very often. I see the value in it now, and excited. You know, they just give your brain a chance to open up, and it just goes waterfall. So great, thank you. Excellent. Okay, let's go next to, for the last 8 minutes, areas of growth. Now, this is not to be any kind of negative or discouraging thing. This is in the context of recalling and reviewing and reflecting areas where we would like to improve, things that we'd like to learn and apply to teaching in the future. And being able to lay that out will help us to achieve our goals. So we'll take 8 minutes this time, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I stopped our timer because it looks like we're maybe a little have some stuff going on. Is we've got, whoops, a little too far. So we've got our time for our notes, and we can go ahead and share a little bit with just the last couple minutes that we have together. Was this a helpful exercise for you? Is it something that you would apply with your students in the future or in your teaching?
I'll turn this mic on, and she will hear you now.
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm just trying to write something here, but I don't know where it went.
You did it over your other one, but that's okay. Yeah, just go ahead and tell us if you don't mind.
It'll hear you.
Let's see. I think my biggest growth area was really learning to be really more respectful of my students' time and their schedules and their perspectives. Particularly when it comes to grading, because I've been working on this for the last few years, but this year I feel like I really made some headway on it with, I don't know how to say this exactly, but when you're grading and giving feedback, particularly when you have a lot of students, sometimes I have a tendency to not be snarky, but to maybe be inappropriate. So this time I've really learned to be really respectful and to watch when I'm writing and reread it and maybe even save it as a draft and think about it and come back later on and to have all of my feedback really be couched in giving maybe something positive and then sandwiching in something helpful, even saying that this is feedback, not failure, and then ending with something positive. So
I love that.
It takes a lot of work and a lot of time, but I feel like that's probably the biggest growth area that I have worked in.
Thank you so much. That is, I I would be willing to bet that that's going to make a huge difference in what your students are able to receive and process. Because
I don't know if anybody else has this experience, but I have a student almost in every class, and this one in particular, I had a student who hated the course, hated me, and I would get emails, very disrespectful, whatever, but I always took the high road. Always tried to answer her questions and be helpful, open my door for appointments and so on. So that was really hard for me, but
yeah,
I really did grow in that area. So I wanted to share that.
thank you.
And I know I'm not going to get a good spot evaluation from her.
It's okay. Really is okay. The way that you handle conflict says just as much about you, even more, than an absence of conflict.
Exactly.
As you said, everyone has had that experience. And
yeah, I turned it into a learning experience for everyone by finding YouTube videos on conflict, using them as like, there are many kinds of coworkers. You have negative coworkers, you have kind of mean-spirited ones, and go find a video and put it on your annotated bibliography. So I kind of shared that and turned it into a learning experience, which also helped me.
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. That is really awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's really, really great. Yeah, those relationship conflicts are the most difficult thing that we face in any environment, I think. But if we can learn to get over them and get through them, it makes us a lot stronger. It's just great. I want to thank y'all for coming to our session. I hope it's been a fruitful and regenerative one for you. Excuse me. Coming up on Monday, December 19th, we'll be able to apply some of this work to learning about the process of going for Quality Matters in your online course. There's quite a bit of reflection and evaluation that needs to be done in order to go through that excellent process. And so we've laid the foundation here today. And then on Fridays, we do have Open Lab and Canvas support at all of our locations. And hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
We've opened up on Monday too, Kath, just a reminder.
Right, we do have them on Monday too. That's right. Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay.